my God. What's going on? There we go. All right, family, we about to go live. Oh, man. Okay. Let's see. I got everything. We streaming. Yep, we on stream. Are we up on all stations? Let's check. The black signal has launched. We are up on Facebook. We are up on Twitch. We are up on Africa TV. We are up on YouTube events. We are up on D-Live. And it says we online on, okay, GNJMedia events. All right, cool. We out. And people are tuning in. So we'll let them wait for a couple minutes. Y'all can talk for a couple more seconds. We're going to let them wait for a couple minutes. Not a couple of minutes, a couple of seconds, you know. Get the. The sound is good. 5, 4, 3. Somebody got me in the background. 2, turn it back down in the background. Listen on the phone. 1, let's go. What's up, family? What's up, family? What's up, family? This is Brother Hot Tip coming at you live and direct from GNJMedia by way of Tawi Village. We have been blessed today. We have been blessed today. Right now, live on this station right now, we are going to be talking with the elder of the Columbus Collective. You know what I'm saying? This brother has been in the trenches for a very long time. This elder has been in the trenches a long time, and he is the Baba of Babas, coming at us at a ripe 94 years young, and he is still producing content. And he is going to share with us a discussion about the 11 steps for organizing and empowering African-centered organizations for victorious living. Not surviving, not getting by. He's talking about victorious living. And after 94 years, and he said about 75 years of observing our people as an adult, he has some stuff that he wants to share with us. So without any further ado, I want to present to the community. And Elder Tony is here. He got the drum. Give him a drum call, Elder. Go ahead, give him a drum call, cause we. Family, I introduce to you the one, the only, the hardest working man in black business. The originator of the Afro. Before this man, there was no Afro. He the one that came up and the term Afro. Now, but seriously, in all seriousness, this is my Baba. the brother that has basically opened the path for me to do what I'm doing right now, and has opened the door for many other people, not only in my generations, but generations before mine and generations after mine. We want to give it up for Elder Baba Moriba Kelsey. All right. Wait, hold on. Where my crowd at? Where my spiritual crowd? Get up. Oh, they
Well,
scared. Man, I got a spiritual crowd here, Baba. They scared of COVID-19.
all right. That's all right.
So,
I'm so pleased to be able to just talk and share and uh, and receive with you tonight. And, it is a special for me. This is a special occasion that and to share at least some things I've been thinking about for a very long time, and some of them is.
all right, now, whoever is now, those that are not talking, mute your phone and listen on the phone, because the feedback is going to throw him off and throw me off. And I'm going to throw you off. I love you, but I will throw you off because I'll find out who it is. I'm sorry, Baba. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I was just commenting that I think the work that Brother Hatem is doing is wonderful to get messages out to our people, because we need to talk to each other much more than we've ever talked before, because they've taught us to be on the beggar's end and to be less than we really are, and to manifest ourselves both intellectually, spiritually, and physically, present ourselves as being less than some standards, some faulty standards and faulty standards that they've presented to us, that we often uninformedly um, attempt to imitate. And so I've been thinking for a very long time. How can we begin to be willing to do self-examination of ourselves and the situations that we're in such a way that would enable us to become victorious, rather than just be beggars or just asking for being equal to something that is a false position anyway. I
See,
think
there
I'm
you
getting.
go. That's not you. You. That's
I'm
not
trying to.
you. I'll take care of it.
Oh, okay.
All right. So, Baba, now one of the key pieces that I see in this is actually a short ebook, but we're gonna call it a special report. And you mentioned it in your description, where you're talking about the communication. How important? I mean, even though this is a basic question, but how important is proper communication and truly doing some nation building for our people?
Well, it's extremely important, right? It's extremely important, and I think we've been trying to do that for a long time. It's just that we have been using faulty basis for doing it. Like for example, we've been saying, let's become successful in the eyes of those who are our enemies, rather than let's become successful in our own eyes as we interpret it. So uh, uh, it is extremely important that we begin to talk with each other with truth, righteousness, and justice. We can't begin to talk with each other and be in argumentative states with each other continuously, because it brings disarray and weakens us beyond what we can even imagine. In fact, I think we often are very confused and frustrated with ourselves because we expect to be further along without using the principles that we know are true for us. So I think
Well,
that's important for us to communicate, begin to communicate, and have true communication one to another, as opposed to just platitudes and intellectualizing.
you are 94 years old. Now, and I'm going to ask your opinion, because what I liked about this book was it wasn't an authoritative take. Anybody that's going to be interested in getting a book, we will be releasing it. We got a little bit more work to do. I'm only showing the cover and a couple of pages because I want to read a little bit for the people. But it's not you're not coming from an authoritative standpoint. You're making suggestions.
Right.
What is your suggestion for a discussion about the idea of success that we pass on to, well, first off, internalize for ourselves and model for our children. Because right now, as you said, we're pursuing what the enemy has told us is success. So, from your experience, and can you give us an example of what success would look like from an Afrocentric or African-centered perspective?
Um, we're in the pandemic right now, and I think that when I'll give you an example of what I mean from there. And we're looking to their scientists for solutions for us. Yet I heard a sister from the DC area who said that our symptoms are not even the same, and so
Mm.
and so now I'm not putting that out because I know that. I'm saying I just received this afternoon a message from a sister who's been a nurse for 60. She said 35 years, and she's saying that our symptoms are not even the same. Now, suppose we were talking to each other, we would look at our own symptoms and come up with healing factors based on those symptoms that particularize to ourselves, and we wouldn't be asking anybody else to bring solutions to the problem that exists among us. Right. Now that's what I consider to be. We empower ourselves to heal ourselves. What I guess is
We
another short way of
empower
saying it.
ourselves. We empower ourselves to heal ourselves, being able to heal ourselves in situations like this.
Yeah.
So, you put this special report together, 11 steps for organizations and empowering African-centered organization for victorious living. Now, family, let's go through some of these 11 steps. Now, when you get it, you get the little. Now, man, I love that. Oh my God, those that's watching. Look, we flipped the page right on there. Y'all can hear the page that are listening in. So now we got the 11 African keys. We got the first one, unity. We got health. We got divine. We got the supernatural. We got action, vigor, commitment, relationship, fertility, economics, and intelligence. Now, Doc, out of all of those, which one you want to hit on first?
Well, well, I want those of you who know me know that I want it on unity first.
Why unity?
Because
Don't have.
that provides a pathway. Otherwise, we're being spurious, going in all directions. I mean, in our action, we can't make take clear action steps for ourselves without unity. And I know that many of us have sort of thought that it was kind of crazy or silly when I would raise the question about aiming toward agreement, having that as a goal. That is, if we don't have that as a goal, how do we have unity if we're not aiming for agreement? It doesn't mean that we all agree, but we are working toward it, and our whole intent is to get there one day. In fact, as I talk about intergenerational progress, what do we pass down intergenerationally if they don't see us aiming for agreement? So unity would have the manifestation of all of us striving for the same values, the same protocols that we would set for ourselves, uh, and and what I don't see is us doing that. For example, I don't know how many are in Columbus right now, but in Atlanta, there are probably 15 different Pan Africanist groups, all who are claiming that they are on the right path. But the unity across those almost doesn't exist except saying hello.
Mhm.
Mm.
Mhm.
And so that's what I mean by unity. That's really what I mean by unity. I mean we need to do that kind of self-examination, and then say what are we going to do about it to bring that to erase that type of practice which has been the corporate practice across America. That's what I would suggest that we're following.
So now, how but my organization is better than yours. I know more than you. How do we get past that? I'm deeper than you. What are some of the things that you have um what are some of the remedies that you can prescribe for the community for us to get through some of that?
Well, my mother used to have an expression. She said, "Humble thyself, because there's where the strength is." And we have not humbled ourselves to the point where we recognize that there's a place for everybody, even though that would eliminate that I know more than you, and because I know that the young person we have the good fortune. My wife and I right now have the good fortune of I'm going to say grandmother and grandfather schooling of my granddaughter, who's 4, and it's amazing to see when we open up to her whatever factors that we want to open up to her, and we practice them between the two of us. How she just jumps right in it and follows it very well, which I think represents that's a personal uh, example of what I mean by unity. There's no disagreement. If we disagree, we settle it right before her so that she can see us settling it and moving on toward something that's a different step from what we would have taken
So
had we had been continuously expressing disagreement. That means we need to begin to honestly talk with each other. I'm talking with another group, as Brother Tony knows, where when I put on the table, let's do self-examination, that almost became a uh, disorganizing question rather than one that would where we do the self-examination so that we don't have to say and lecture and intellectualize. That is not to say that we don't need flowery speeches and so forth, but the flowery speeches ought to be reflecting what we are doing both individually and collectively, and we're not doing something contrary to what is for the goodness of the total. So,
mm,
uh,
okay.
I don't know if
Uh,
I don't know how clear that is, but
it's clear now.
I'm just expressing my spirit to you right now.
Right, and that's what I want to get to. That's what we want to get to. So now, so unity is number one, and that's number one in your book. We could turn right to it because there you go right there. Introduction, African Keys. The first one is unity, and he wrote it in all capital letters. Right? I'm like, okay, all right, cool. Let's see what's going on there. So next you say health. So I'm thinking that you one of the most qualified as far as health because I done seen you kicking it. You and I don't mean this with no disrespect, but you was old when I met you. So
watch out now, watch out.
and Brother Hatim is old. You know what I'm saying? Brother Hatim is old. When I met him, listen, he was already retired. But the point I'm trying to make is you can truly speak on health. How important is the key or the step of health as far as organization? Because because a lot of us, we focus on health as if it's an individual thing. But we see right now that health can be something that not only can affect an individual, but it can affect the family, and right now it can affect the world. So how important is health in our nation building stance, and what type of things should we be doing and incorporating to make sure that we're in step with some of the prescriptions that you have laid out for us?
Yeah. Now keep in mind that I've already said to you that we can't. It is difficult for us to be collectively healthy when we are totally kicking each other and saying I'm better than you and I have more knowledge than you. Certainly, we might have more information about a particular area, but knowledge is very different from that. Knowledge means that I will use my place in the orbit that I find myself to bring harmony and peace among all the other factors in the universe. The moon and the stars and so forth will not get out of their orbit because they know every time they get out of their orbit, disturbances arise. So and they respect the position of each thing in that whole universe. So part of the good health is working on that. But then I've gone on to say that in terms of health, we need to look at it physically. And some of the things that I've been looking at the your show, Nation Builder, and I was impressed with the ideas of food, of using our foods wisely, and recognizing that how they impact our body. Now, if you notice that in that section, I also indicated that we need to use our five senses in terms of health, but we also need to respect the African sixth sense, which we all have and we admit to, but sometimes we're a little ashamed of it because people might call us silly or something. And that sixth sense is discernment. How can we be healthy if that's a part of our constellation, and we fail to use that and be proud of using it, so much so that we can say that I feel this and know that it's not just the arbitrary feeling. It is as real as any other sense, as seeing out of your eyes. So I'm suggesting to us that there's nothing mysterious about that. We let people fool us into believing that only the one God whose name we have become familiar with, but may not have been what we even call those things in the past. So I'm saying health represents a broad spectrum of things that we must stand on solid foundation, and that's what I'm trying to convey in that area of health, is that the foundation is more than typically just the physical aspect, physical, mental, spiritual, and so forth, all of those, and that too is aimed toward the agreement that would bring health to Hatem from El Moriba. See, and that I would get health from Hatem by my interaction also with Hatem. We may not agree on whether we dance this way or dance that way, but we know that we have to extend ourselves in one unified force to be healthy. And I think that's certainly I've listed some detailed things in that section, but and I'm going to write more about that too. I might tell. I promise you, but the health that I'm talking about goes beyond just the health that typically is discussed in the European frame of reference. Am I making sense to you all?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Discernment. Now, see, because this the whole discernment piece. Because discernment could get you in trouble, Baba. That makes people feel uncomfortable. You talking about plugging into something that's super deep. How do we start training something like that within our tribes, within our organizations, within our families? How do we start training the young people to grab, not only, let me take young people out, you know what I'm saying, because we all got stuff that we need to learn. This whole discernment piece, because that was one of the key pieces that stuck out to me. You talking about that sixth sense, that discernment. How, from your experience, how do we develop that, and how do we train ourselves to become comfortable with expressing that? Because in this culture, you know what I'm saying, the feeling thing, especially for men, it is viewed as being feminine. You know what I'm saying? This feeling, and you should have total control of your feelings, and you shouldn't express it, or you should be mad all the time, or you know what I'm saying? How do we train people to use their discernment, and how do we get people comfortable with expressing what it is that they're feeling?
Well, in ancient writings, it was not unusual to find that the people were expressing things that they saw beyond the human eye. But I don't want to go there right now. But keep in mind that we've been trained away from what was our natural selves. Now we have to start there. That's why the self-evaluation is so important. We have to have a willingness to say, why are we in the state that we're in now? And one thing we can do is blame somebody else for everything. You know, we can blame. Now, I'm fully aware of the fact that we were enslaved and that we were captured, and that we. But I'm saying to us, accept that and go beyond that now and begin to say, how do I get my feet on the ground again, so that all the parts of me, including the discernment, becomes a legitimate place for myself and my people. And now, a white boy looked at a white person, looked at a book that Hatem also has about the geniusness that's among us. And he said to me, oh, he came out the next day and he said to me, you know, that's a wonderful book. That's a part of us too. And I said, yeah, that may be. That's your choice. I said, but the target person was African. And I think that we have to be willing to target ourselves in the face of people who, when you do something that's right, accepting that praise as being genuine, and looking for that kind of reward. My rewards come when I see Taiwi Family Village and the different Pan-African and Africanist groups begin to say, we are one, and we will feed our own people, and we know ways to do that, and I think we do.
Family,
now, and don't be
family,
ashamed.
family.
See, if that's a part of me, why would the right arm be ashamed of the left arm? Discernment
That's true.
Discernment is just as valid as any other sense. And let me just go a step further. This writing that I'm doing now is not a closed writing. The opportunity to present it to you and to anyone else is to say it's open. Let's talk about these things, and so that's why I appreciate so much what we're doing tonight, because I think we need to talk about these things.
Well, I'm gonna open it up. I got a few more questions for you. We gonna and because and family, this is in the computer world they call this they have these type of projects where they put them out open source. When he created this with the idea in mind, even though he might not have the language or the words for it, but it's an open source project. So right now, as far as us and nation building, right, he is presenting discussions that we have, not rules, not laws, things for us to consider and to get in and start digging in on, and either start proving or disproving and having major discussions. This is like the beginning of a university, so that we can have the discussion. But before I open up the lines, because I'm going to open up the lines.
Go ahead. Let me say, it ends with, now the work begins. That's the last.
It ends. You can't give away all the book, Papa. Come on, man. We got to save something.
Okay.
You can't give it all to him, you know. But you know, my favorite part is divine. It's not that long, but I want you to discuss why you put divine as one of the keys. Because in that discussion, you frame. I'm gonna let you go. Tell us about the chapter of divine. the
Well,
idea of the divine?
uh, sometimes we want to make ourselves less than some um, abstract figure, and I would just suggest that if we the divine or the godlike or the sense of power, sense of victorious. Power is not, the power that I'm talking about is not the power over something, but it's power of being uh, focused on rising above confusion. And divinity, I'm suggesting, is that we all have it, but we don't use it enough because we feel like it's not the. It's as you stated earlier that it's effeminate and uh, and we don't want to anybody to say anything about it. But yet, even in the Christian phenomena, you create the idea of miracles, and yet it seems to me to suggest that only one person has that. Everybody has that ability to have those, but it has to follow universal rules, or else it gets out of hand.
Mm.
And
Mm.
and that's and that I use the universe a lot of times to talk about to myself now to talk about the order that we ought to have. We ought to have order if we get out of our orbit. We ought to have the understanding that everything is in disarray until I get back in my orbit and do the job that I have that needs to be done. Like the sun is doing its job, the moon is doing its job, the so-called Mars, as identified by the European and the other stellar things, are doing their job. The insects. I was reading this article today, which said that there's danger of insects uh, uh, being diminished and maybe even being destroyed. And let's say if the insects are destroyed, then the balance becomes out of order. So those are the types of things that I think we ought to be considering. Is how do we empower ourselves to do what we need to do to have the orbit work uh, in, in the order that it should be working. Uh, we have mathematical formulas that's supposed to prove that, but yet we know that the mathematical formulas are always off some degree, well, some element of or some degree, and but we're talking about aiming toward perfection. That's the part of the divinity. But we dare not. Sometimes we dare not because we think that it's too spiritual or something like that. In this document, if you leave spirituality out, you don't have much of a chance to move toward what I'm talking about, the unity that we're talking about now. And I'm not talking about any religion now. Let's be clear that about that in Catholicism and Protestantism or Buddhism and all the other isms. I'm not talking about that at all. I'm talking about the things that are orderly, that we all see and we all have a sense of, but we won't use them. Once we move toward that level of understanding, and that what I call in that section, I had a godlike position. We move toward that godlike position, then it becomes empowering for us to do whatever it is that we need to do.
And that for me was one of the key pieces because you compare you in there you talk about learning to look at our struggle as a divine struggle, which kind of shifts even for somebody my age looking at it and say, damn, I haven't been looking at what I'm doing as a divine struggle. Can you explain the significance of having and viewing what we're doing as a divine struggle, and how empowering is that?
Well, it's empowering to the point that it takes the fear out of whatever it is that we do, and we don't have to do it to satisfy the powers that be in the. You're not doing it to dissatisfy them. but you're not doing it to satisfy them either. You're doing it so that the orbit that we're placing ourselves in is equal to every other thing in the orbit. That's divine because I'm doing what my place is in this whole scheme of the universe operating. I'm not waiting. We often use transition. I'm not waiting for the transition to open the gates. I open the gate right now.
Ooh, ooh. You take the power in your own hands. So, family, we're gonna take a small break, and when we come back, we're gonna open it up because right now the black line is packed. We got the minds sitting up in here, and we're going to have a discussion, a family discussion with the Baba of the village. But
to have melanin embedded in our skin is a gift. Oh my gosh, when I say too black, you say too strong. Too black? Too strong? Yeah. We were born to be great. Oh my gosh, when I say too black, you say too strong. Too black? We were born to be great.
Peace, family. Yo, thank you for joining us. Right, and I'm thrilled to announce the fact that we are now releasing our first free e-course. Come and learn about Gianni's journey, see some of the stuff we do. Come and join the tribe up with us, and check out the free e-course. And we'll make sure that the URL pop up right about here, and it'll probably be somewhere in here. Check us out, family, because we are building. Come and learn about Gianni's journey, and let's build together.
That will disintegrate the model all the more so.
Right.
And I also thought of George G.M. James, because underlying a number of the things you said is this notion of what we keep running across in our ASCAC study group reading, and Elder Alona and I, as our Medu study class, and this is the idea of the gestalt.
That's right.
The whole being better, the whole, I can't even say it now, but the whole being better than the sum of its parts, in a manner of speaking. And so, and lastly, George G.M. James, he noted that the Greeks would come to study in Kemet, and what they learned, they stripped it of a spirit component. And it just dawned upon me, while listening to you, is I think that's actually what I'm trying to do in terms of how I'm thinking about a number of the things we in GNJMedia have written down and put together, and thinking about putting little math lessons at, at least 3 different levels to express some of these same concepts. And I'll turn the mic over. Thank you.
Okay. Well, that's I think we're right. I think that's right. We got to begin to think beyond. We have to apply the things that we know to be true to ourselves, and not not back away from them, because they're not going to fit the curriculum that we find in most churches, in most schools, and are in most governments that are in power right now.
Anybody else? Anybody else? If y'all don't got nothing, I'll carry on the conversation. People quiet out there right now.
Yeah. Permission to speak?
Yeah, well,
Yeah, it definitely hit the heart of the understanding that unity is divine.
that's right.
And so when we say minute by minute, hour by hour, that's a divine statement or a divine piece. And as I move through it with the steps of divinity, that I am speaking and moving and stuff with that kind of understanding and that kind of truth. So, yeah.
Well,
I'd like to connect.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and all of the 11 are connected in the same way, because this is the way I'm looking at it. That because that divinity, once that divinity attaches itself to that unity, then everything else goes. So, thank you.
Well, I was going to say that earlier today, Elder Tony had a comment. We were on the phone, and he had a comment to that I thought was important about that very same thing about the wholeness of us, and he said that, well, people are afraid of doing the evaluation. Evaluation ought to be an exciting thing to do. To say that, hey, you know what? I could have done this way and would have brought Brother Hatem closer to me. And then go do it, as opposed to just thinking about it. And I'm just trying to say that let's make the things that we know. We're studying. I mean, I am. We're studying. Let's try to make the things that we do move us toward that empowerment that will make us victorious over our lives. There shouldn't be any African who we have a million in Atlanta, the Center for Black African Millionaires. You've got, I bet you there's probably 200 or 300, more than that across Atlanta. But yet the majority of the population is hungry. I'm talking about now the African community. And why is that? Why would we have that kind of? Some might say that's because you're not a millionaire. Well, no, I'm not, but I have my share.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. So for those that don't know, that was Elder Tony West, and we're gonna get him on the show. I just gotta get him to slow down. You gotta chase Elder Tony down, and I'm gonna chase him down. We're gonna get him on the show, so that we can go also glean from his wisdom as well. So, are there any other questions out there? Because we got a little bit of time now. The sun's still up, so Baba's up too. You know what I'm saying? Because we know he moved with the sun. So come on now.
Well, let's share. Let me just share. You may have questions about some of the other areas. The next
right.
You gonna
you want to do it, or you want me to go and roll through it?
Roll through it, because I think the people. I want you to see the progression too that and I'm not sure that they're all in order. maybe we can maybe together maybe
Ah,
we can decide whether they all should be where they all should be.
yeah,
But
yeah.
So we got
but
unity, health, divine, supernatural, action, vigor, commitment, relationship, fertility, economics, intelligence.
those are the areas that I've suggested. You may have other areas that you think are important for us, but those are the ones that I've written, and I'm saying to us clearly that let's work together. Even if I'm not around, take these things and use them. Let's work together to begin to crystallize these into action, so that we can become one, not against somebody, but for the purpose of standing, as I taught my children, hold your head up high.
Mm. Come on now, turn that down in the background. Turn that down in the background. All right. So now we are also opening it up to the people out there. Let me go and put the number for the black line. I'm gonna type it in first. So the black line, the number is 614-556-4535. Once again, 614-556-4535. If you have any questions or comments, by all means, make sure that you go on and hit us up and let us know. Let's go on and talk. Let's go on and talk about it. All right, so Baba, so let's talk about that next one. Hold on, let me pull the news feed back up and switch back out real quick and go and pull up the next one. Cause the cat seemed to got the family tongue, and that's cool because hey, I got you to myself. We got supernatural. What is it? What should we be looking for in this supernatural?
Well, in a way, that's a misnomer, but in a way, it's not. What seems to be natural right now for among us is this right to be my individual self any way I choose to be, as long as I think I'm right. Now, supernatural is, to me, means that I have the identified personal responsibilities to be moving toward making sure that I'm strong, collectively beyond myself, and even if it takes miraculous things to do it, beyond beyond the PhDs or the university's approval, or beyond the church's membership, or beyond the. Now, keep in mind, this is not against anything. It's saying if you're going to do those things, make sure you're doing the principles that we know that keep us together. That's supernatural. That's overcoming those things that have been put in our way for us to be divine. And there are many things in the that I'm sure that people in the listening audience can identify that are put in our way to keep us from being divine. For example, I have a publisher who published a book for me, who my wife was looking through Amazon or one of those publishers like that, and she said, "He's selling your book behind your back." Now the guy's talking to me every day, and now he may consider that to be all right. And so I called him to talk about that, and he said, and he's not answering my calls, and I think because I told him we need to talk. But the thing that I'm saying is that when we do things that are for the purpose of individual aggrandizement, regardless of whether it impacts those around us. And when I use collective, I'm talking about African people generally, because we have the struggle of one nation across the world, that we have not even, and when we can't do one nation in our families, and that's even if we got success. See, the collective organizing and empowerment that I'm talking about goes beyond just going out to say that I believe this. It says that I'm saying the supernatural would be doing the thing. It would be doing things that are significant, that are all are reality based because we see the results. And would not cause confusion among us.
Oh man. So we got Miss Sharika Brantley. She sends her love out to you. Doc, I just thought I would share that. Cause she says she's gonna come back and watch it later. She probably at work, but she checks in every now and then, and she put it up. Now, family, don't be shy. Don't be shy to type in your questions as well, because I will make sure that Baba gets it. Now, let me ask you this, Baba, because you've been building for a long time, and you started the Afrocentric Personal Development Shop.
Actually, we started the African Center first.
Yeah, all right, cool. Because he got to be historical. Started the African Center first. Now, how were you able in those times to be able to pull something like that together? Well, let me even take it even deeper. If we look at these times now, how much different now, outside of the technology, are black folks now, from your perspective, to back then when y'all was able to pull the African Center together?
We might have had a higher level of unity then than we have now, because we've been trained away and assumed this is something I'm going to say probably in the temple 2 weeks from now, some weeks from now anyway. If we look now, the unity that we had in our communities at one time, that no longer exists because we've aimed at the confusion that Trump has put in front of our place. The Trumpism, I'm not called the person. The person doesn't make any difference because it's the same system that he's practicing. That's in your governor and in the government and in the schools and in the temples often. So, and we're not willing. Sometimes we're not willing to look at that as being that way. But so I say, well, maybe it's natural for a dog who's on a leash to be trained and follow the training that his master gives him. Maybe that's natural. So let's talk about supernatural. Let's go beyond that. Is what I'm trying to say. Don't pray for it. Act on it. Don't just pray for it. Act on it.
Don't just pray for it. Act on it.
Yeah, don't just pray for it. Act on it. Because in the document I said, let's pray about it. And I said, that may be okay. But if you don't act on it, it remains dormant.
If we don't act upon it, it remains dormant. All right, and
I'm saying dominancy has become it seems to me has become the natural, and it said let's be supernatural about this and go beyond that. I'm not talking about the movies, supernatural ghosts and all that nonsense.
You talking about like calling on those ancestors, huh?
Yeah, call them.
Commercial.
If you're going to do that, then act on what you call them for.
Oh, so we got to take. So in a sense, when it comes to being supernatural, we got to take some action. We taking it out of the hand of mystery, and
right.
like we have been trained, and we're taking a little bit more control about the direction that our lives and our communities go into.
And if you notice that in the document, when those of you who will get the document, It wasn't by accident that I put action after supernatural. Because that kind of that you have to have that. Why would you act before you feel like being empowered to act?
Mhm.
And sometimes we do that just for maybe for show. I'm not sure what for. But those are things we need to talk about seriously. And if the titles need to be different for our victorious living, then we need to name. I'm fine with moving the titles around, even changing the titles. It's just that I want a dialogue among us so that we begin to grow and become empowered to take action wherever we are. Never just for the purpose. Now, if the wars come, of course, we have to be supernatural about that too. But but never we're not doing that to create disturbance. We're doing that for the purpose of creating harmony. But we recognize that disharmony may come from outside, and we have to protect ourselves from that. That's also acting
So
supernatural, not giving in.
Right. So
Permission?
and go. Oh yeah, go ahead.
So, if I'm understanding you correctly, Baba, this notion of supernatural, if I'm in a dormant state, then pushing to the supernatural may be awakening.
That's right.
If I'm just
And if you
laying in
act on it.
bed, if
I know-
I'm just laying in bed, then pushing to that supernatural means getting up. If I'm just standing, the supernatural tells me then I must act. Is that
Yeah, that's
the
right. I mean,
idea?
supernatural might say that if you want to have things, my super natural internal thought dream that we may have, which sometimes we refer to it as a dream, is being free and being liberated. And we can dream all we want to if we don't act on it, and not asking for it, but taking it for ourselves as we define it. Then we remain entrapped.
Mm-hmm.
Trapped inside of inaction and false beliefs. Man, all right. So now we ain't got no questions. Ain't got no. There's no other questions. It got to be some questions out there. That's part of the learning process.
Brother Hatem,
Yes, sir.
that last statement you just made, trapped inside of, what was that?
Inaction.
Bro, you know you can't ask me nothing.
Trapped inside of inaction.
Trapped inside of inaction and false belief.
Yeah.
Now, Brother Hatem did an interview with this brother John. I just call him Brother John, and he gave a definition for nigger that I think. Do you think it kind of jives with that, Hatem?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And because it's close to it. All we gotta do is add the word habit, because he said it's being trapped in a habit, a non-productive type habit. I got to get him to say it again, but because like I said, I wasn't writing at that time. But like I said, hopefully y'all keeping notes. Now, family, we will be releasing this special report, and like I said, it'll be coming out through Gianmi Journey. Family, like I said, this is the beginning. But now, before we even go there, because we got action, we got vigor, we got commitment, we got relationships, we got fertility, and then we have economics. Barbara, can you go and give us some of your observation on economics, especially when it comes to our community, because this is one of the things that seems to hinder us, and you come at it from a different perspective because you're asking us to look at our resources just a little bit different. Can you go and detail this a little bit for us, please?
Well, of course, the foundation that some of you know that I've like to talk about is that the human capital, if you want to call it human capital, that's the resources that we got. We got the power in our community in terms of being able to accomplish whatever we want to accomplish. That far supersedes any amount of fiscal capital that might be, because fiscal capital is a false entity in the first place. If the and if you don't believe that, when you saw the printing presses rolling, printing dollars to come out to America, nothing behind it but just the paper being declared, then you know that it's possible to create and destroy that at any point. The those in power can choose to do, but you can't destroy the human capital that we often overlook, because we have the power as humans in our communities and in our families to do whatever we need to do, and sometimes we don't use that. We ignore it by various forms of disturbances among us, some coming from outside and some coming from inside. That's what I'm talking about in this. You know, but I'm also talking about we have now an observation. We have a lot of activities going on around what I call fly-by-night liberation activities, and many times we fall right into the behavior, right into that fly-by-night activity that's going to end, and we see it end in a short while, and another flyby one comes back. We talk about our principles and our standards and so forth a lot, and we espouse them, but I'm calling for us to act on them. I don't know any better way to say it than that.
Well, Doc, is 8:05, and I don't want to wear you out because we're gonna bring you back on the show because we got some more principles to talk about, and the Baba has another book coming out around his birthday. Actually, we're gonna drop it on his birthday, and actually, it's poetry book, and I didn't know you was an artist. How long you been writing poetry, Baba?
My wife, it's kind of interesting. My wife said to me, I said, I'm writing some poems. She says she took a look at them and she said that's not poetry. It's some poetry, but it's prose. I said, well, okay. But anyway, no. Actually, I hope that the poetry to me means that there's a rhythm in the word and so forth. I hope that the issues that I'm raising in this paper is poetic in that it has a rhythm and a wavelength that will bring us together.
A rhythm and a wavelength that will bring us together. I mean, because actually it's going to bring us together for some of the conversations that we're going to have in the Columbus family around it, because at the same time that you drop this piece, we got other brothers that's going to be brothers and sisters coming out with other stuff that lines right up with this. So this is like a linchpin. This is, like I said, the ancestors are working right now, because as a matter of fact, we was talking about the Corona-19, and I was sharing with some of the family maybe a week ago. It was something that you had said. You said you don't call this confinement. You call it what?
A divine experience, a divine time, because it's forcing us to stay still for a while, at least, and review and recognize that we are captives in a world that we all have very little to say about. Even to the point of not even studying our system system so that we can see what the virus, how the virus acts differently from in our system from what it acts in others. So I think that this is divine time for us to take, and we ought to come out of this with not the same way we went in it.
Family. So first off, I want to give Baba a rousing round of applause from the spiritual audience. Man, we got the elder in the background. We hear the drums. We got the spiritual crowd going on. Go ahead, elder.
While you have this moment, Brother Hatem, May 10th, Hurrah.
Oh. We have Per Ankh coming up on May 10th, and Baba will be joining us again. And the focus of this Per Ankh will be Malcolm X. And Brother Kwame has once again volunteered Brother Hatem for something that, Lord have mercy. Baba's going to participate. And it was somebody else we called out too. Kwame.
We still have to check with Navita on that.
Right. No, but you had another elder. Who was it?
Either Baba Tony
Elder
or
Cliff.
Baba Cliff, yeah.
Yeah. He lassoed the brothers into it. The sisters did such a good job. Kwame felt challenged, and he wanted to, put us up on the spot like that. I think I'm coming down with something. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to. I'll be able to facilitate from behind the scenes, but I'm feeling kind of weak right now. But anyway, family, we want to make sure. Yeah, we're gonna make it happen. We want to make sure that we let Baba know that we appreciate his time. We appreciate him coming on the show, and we want to ask him, Baba, do you have any last words? You have any final words?
Yeah, well, I'd like for us to. I appreciate that you saying that we would follow up, but I hope that you will get this document. It's not. I'm not proposing that it's an almighty document. I only propose that it's a place for us to look at starting. And I also like some of the people who you've identified who seem to be coming in the same direction, for us to begin to talk and maybe on a show where we share how we are similar and how we're dissimilar, so that we can come closer together.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Also, family, I want to let y'all know. Here we go. There we go. Where you at? All right. Family, I want y'all to let you know. When you call in, you have to mute. You have to mute. Because you can hear everything through your headphone. I will not deny you of being able to hear everything through your headphone. So you have to mute, so that we could be clear and be able to focus on the speaker and allow the speaker to focus. Family, this is going to be coming out. We're going to be using the Ugenomics model, and this is going to be one of the first projects that we push out. So we're going to really be able to see how the community come together and how we can grow together. Baba, I spoke to him a little bit about it. And hey, we about to really get this moving. So we will make this available. It will be $5, and you'll be able to. I will send out the link for it, because Baba want to make sure that everybody has access to it. So like I said, even if you don't have the $5, go and holler at us so that we can make something happen. But we want to get this in everybody's hands so that we can start the discussion here in Columbus, in Atlanta, in Chicago. We used to be able to do it in Ouagadougou, but Sister Kim is here now because of the coronavirus. We want to take advantage of this time. And also, family, remember, go on and support GNJMedia Journey. You go to GNJMedia.support. Once again, that's GNJMedia.support. And we want to once again thank the Baba for coming in. And Elder Tony, Elder Tony. Uh-oh. All right, because I want to give Elder Tony a moment to, because he started off with some conversation. I wanted him to finish this out.
Oh, Tony?
But, yo.
All right, because I want to give Elder Tony a moment to, because he started off with some conversation. I want him to
That might be
finish it
Elder. That ain't Elder Tony. All right, so family, without any further ado, Baba, we will see you later. We'll give you all the salutes, and thank you for sharing your time with us, and hopefully, you going to come back, right? You going to come back on the show, right?
Yeah. I would
Okay.
just want to say that I appreciate having this time, and I hope that it just stimulates discussion and action.
Oh, man.
And please pass our love to Mama Niambi.
I would do that. Yes, indeed. Likewise, you all up there, pass it to your mates, because I think it's important that we start there.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, it's just, remember, this might be old, but my mother and father said, my mother especially, used to say, charity begins at home, boy.
Now, how many times
You're
have
right.
I said that in the last month?
All right. So, family, hey, we're going to take this little break. And I will see y'all at, at least some of y'all at 9 p.m. because we got folk tales for grown folks. Just so some of y'all can know which folk tale we're going to be working with tonight. This is a good one. The Farmer and the Stork. A farmer placed nets on his newly sown plowlands and caught a number of cranes, which came to pick up his seed. With them he trapped a stork that had fractured his leg in the net and was earnestly beseeching the farmer to spare his life. "Pray, save me, master," he said, "and let me go free this once. My broken limb should excite your pity. Besides, I am no crane. I am a stork, a bird of excellent character. And see how I love and slave for my father and mother. Look, too, at my feathers. They are not the least like those of the crane." The farmer laughed aloud and said, "It may be as you say. I only know this. I have taken you with these robbers, the cranes, and you must die in their company." The moral, birds of a feather flock together. And y'all know we going to tear that one up tonight. We're going to get into that because that fits right into the news, man, family. So make sure you join us tonight. And now I want to end this segment. And once again, thanking the Baba for coming on. We will have him back on because we got a lot of work to do. All right, family. This is Brother Hatim, and I am out.
Bye.
Peace.